Hey beautiful people, let's talk today about quite a controversial topic. Why, if you are that smart, you still ending up with a toxic partner? And if we look deeper, the explanation is quite logical. So let's dive in and try to see what we can change to finally get a different outcome. And I say we because it totally applies to me in many aspects, and which aspects we are going to talk about below. I'm a provisional psychologist, let's get started. And first factor is overfunctioning as a coping mechanism. High-achieving women are often great at fixing things. So when a partner is avoidant, emotionally unavailable or wounded, what do we do, girls? For sure, we double down. The relationship becomes another project to succeed at, because it should be the strategy, right? If I do this, they will do that. If I can just love him enough, he'll change. If I speak to him in this way, he'll definitely appreciate it and change. And very often we forget that it is the choice of the other person to do the work on their flaws. By the way, I started realizing this only when I began working with clients with really complex conditions like AD issues or even legal issues. When after several counseling sessions my client would relapse, I would actually take it as a personal failure until my supervisor told me, Darina, it is their responsibility to change or not, to use those tools or not. They have to work as hard as you do and want things to be fixed or changed as much as you do. So I can certainly say that the 10-step rule applies here. You do your 5 steps and they do their 5, not you jumping in with 9 when they barely show up with 1. And another pattern that high-achieving women display is taking all responsibility. Strong people are not afraid to say, I messed up, and I'm happy to own it and work through it. For example, the partner is passive-aggressive and the girl is like, it's probably because I have to give them more space to show their true feelings. Or the partner is avoiding intimacy and she's like, all right, I have to hit the gym, dress up more seductively, and just be better. You see what I mean? You take all the responsibility on yourself. And similarly to the previous point, it's very important to see the facts and reality. They are passive-aggressive with everyone. They are not interested in intimacy because they watch too many adult movies, not because something is wrong with you. So being able to maintain the balance, knowing when you are truly responsible and when it's on them and not your job to fix, is essential. Another factor why you tolerate a toxic partner is because of heightened empathy. High emotional awareness and intelligence is a great thing. It helps you get along with people and go further in life. But sometimes it can be used against you. For example, when someone lashes out, you don't run, you psychoanalyze. And instead of thinking, this is toxic, you start thinking, he must be wounded. He had a difficult childhood. He was never understood in his previous relationships and so on. Write in the comments if you were doing that. I probably have to jump in and write a comment myself. Me being a therapist, doing this all the time. And from one side, it's good because yes, you don't internalize their toxicity and can sort of look at it from the side. But over time, it still gets to you. It still plays on your nerves and you feel more and more down. You feel depressed, you feel stressed, and so on. So that lens of empathy delays the exit. The most important takeaway is, do not confuse understanding with tolerating. Yes, they might have millions of traumatic experiences, but it is their job to control themselves and not spill all of it on you. Understanding, yes. Justifying, no. Another factor for tolerating a toxic relationship is childhood narcissistic conditioning. Daughters of narcissistic parents grow up needing to earn love by achieving, pleasing, or performing. By the way, that's also one of the factors that contributed to high achievements in life, because this trauma pushes them forward constantly. So when in a romantic relationship someone gives breadcrumbs, we stay because we are trying to prove we are enough and earn love with everything we have. Love becomes a deal. If I'm good enough, they'll love me. You stop looking for mutual connection and start trying to earn your place. You show up, give you all, fix things, adapt, just hoping they will notice, value and love you back. And when they don't, you try harder, stuck in this loop of unhappiness. The antidote to this is understanding that you deserve to be loved just by the fact of your existence. That's all. Also, children of narcissistic parents, both or just one parent, often stick in unhealthy relationship because toxic feels familiar. The toxic partner is withholding, critical, hard to please. But you know what? That feels normal when this is all you knew growing up with it. So you stay because in some weird way it reminds you of home. So do not try to love someone into healing because really you are trying to win over their emotional unavailability. But if it's not there, it's just not there. Another huge, massive reason why high-achieving smart women end up and stay in toxic relationships is because of busy, high-functioning lives. They don't have time to date around. I can 100% relate to this. Dating takes a huge amount of time. But who has time for this? Girls, write in the comment section if you agree with this. So when someone shows up with warmth and effort early on, they commit quickly. They overlook red flags because it feels like a relief. So you take that early warmth as certainty and you are not trying to figure out, is it love bombing, is it not love bombing? It feels good. Awesome, no time for decoding. Also quite important for females like that, after a lifetime of pressure, they crave softness. Someone who gets them emotionally, someone who feels like a safe space. And when a toxic partner mirrors this need early on, they attach deeply, even if it's just a performance. Because when you are longing for peace, it's easy to ignore red flags just to hold onto the warmth. You feel emotionally seen, but not everything that feels real is real. And one more factor that keeps smart women in toxic relationships is that their own brain gaslights them. This is the burden of being smart. Only self-aware people are able to look at their own flaws or second guess themselves. And the girl starts to think, maybe I'm being too critical. Maybe it's my trauma. Maybe I'm the problem. That mental loop makes them more tolerant of emotional harm. They start analyzing instead of feeling, and the antidote to this one, just trust your feelings. Doesn't matter how much you are trying to rationalize or find answers. If it feels bad, this is what matters. Because relationships are needed for happiness. Share in comments if you recognize yourself or someone you know in these factors. Look after yourself and your loved ones, and I'll see you in the next video.